Hello, good morning, friends. How are you all? I hope you all are safe and healthy. So let's start unit number 5. In the last video lecture session, you learn about the money and banking, right? Regarding the unit number 5. And in this video lecture session, we are going to discuss regarding the monetary policy, and the second video lecture regarding this unit number 5 only, that the fiscal policy, right? So let's start monetary policy and how its impact on our economy, and which statutory bodies to be levy this type of monetary policy. Okay, so let's start that topic. So what is the monetary policy? What are that? So monetary policy is a process in which monetary authority of country is generally a central bank is controls the supply of money in the economy by exercising it control over the interest rate in order to maintain a price stability and achieve the high economical growth. Okay, so monetary policy is totally depend on the money supply and money control. We can say demand of money and supply of money. So this all transaction is monetary policy is totally controlled by our central monetary authority is the RBI. So RBI has to develop this type of monetary policy, and according to that our Indian economy have to follow this type of monetary policies. In India, the central bank authority is the Reserve Bank of India, is so designed as the maintain the price stability in the economy. For the price stability, for maintenance of price stability in economy, they have to be a structure this type of monetary policies. The part of economical policies which is regulate the level of money in the economy in order to achieve a certain objectives. In India, RBI is control the monetary policy, so it's announced twice a year, through which the RBI is regulate the price stability for the economies. They have to totally control over the market. We can say that if we can say scarcity you have to find in the money market, so it's also we can say not we can say appropriate, right, for our economy. And if there are the higher accessible supply in our market, so it's also not very important for our economy, and it's various type of we can say created disaster and harmfulness for our economy. So that's why RBI have to regulate and design various types of monetary policy, and according to that they have to be doing a controlling price controlling in the market. So RBI have to declare the two monetary policies. First, there are the select season policies. They have to declare in the April to September. And second one is the busy session policies from the October to March. And according to that, they have to be follow the rules and regulation by the another central we can say banks, other banks, which have to be considered as a scheduled bank. Like scheduled bank means what? First of all, scheduled bank, the bank which are registered under the RBI's norms and regulations, so it's called the scheduled bank, like SBI, then after HDFC, this all are considered as a scheduled bank because they have to follow the rules and regulation which have to be published by the RBI. Okay. What are the importance of this monetary policy? So first one is the gross national product. In the unit number 3, you learn about it, right? So gross national product means C plus I plus G plus X. C is for what? C is the private consumption what are the expenditure which are to be consumed by the private firms. I, there are the private investment expenditure, whatever investment in done by the individual party or individual any person. G is the government experience, whatever the government doing the experience and experiment for the new type of schemes and policies, and they have to be doing the expense on that. So this all government expenditures are considered, like government have to provide the free of cost we can say like equipment like stitching machine, then after they have to provide the various types of monetary funds to the particular schemes like the Van Mahotsav, Garib Kalyan Melo. Okay, so this type of various type of we can say schemes are considered by the government, so this all are considered as the expense of the government. Then after X is a net export. Net export means what? Net export means your export minus import, and whatever you have to find the figure is considered as the net export. So C, I and X can be influenced by the monetary policies, so which can be also influence the private consumption and the investment spending and exports and imports. So this all are considered as the monetary policies, we can say they have to directly affect on it. If there are the higher rate of investment, then your investment expense is higher, and if there are the lower rate in the investment, then person cannot, we can say, select to invest their money in the other sector. They have to be selected doing the consumption of this particular value. Okay, then what are the objective of monetary policies in your examination? In GTU examination, they have to ask that what is the meaning of monetary policy and what are the objective of monetary policy. So you should write it in detail. So first one, there are the first topic is the price stability. Second one is a control expansion of the bank credit. Third one is a promotion of fixed investment. Fourth one is a restrictions of inventories. Then fifth one, promotion of exports and the foods and the on the procurements and operations. Then desired distribution of credit, equitable distribution of credit to promote the efficiency and reducing the rigidity. So these all points are considered as the objective of monetary policy. And in the next slides, you should learn it one by one. So first topic is the price stability. So what is that and how its impact on our economy? So price stability is a price stability implies the promoting economical development with the considerable emphasis on the price stability. So the center of focus in the facilitate the environment which is the favorable or the architecture that enables the development and the project to run swiftly while also maintaining the reasonable price stability. If there are the not maintaining the price stability in the market, so it sometimes inflates the, we can say, diseconomical of the scale. So economy have to face diseconomic of scale and business have to suffer the losses, right? So that's why price stability is very important and first objective of the monetary policy. Second one is a control expansion of bank credit. So one of the important function of a RBI is to control expansion of a bank credit and the money supply with its special attention to the seasonal requirement for the credit without affecting the output. So they have to totally control the expansion of bank credit. If a bank given the higher credit, then there are the highest excess supply, we can say, consider in the our market. And if there are the excess supply and the demand are lesser, so that's why they are created the inflation in the market, because there are the higher we can say money are available with the peoples and public, and there are the less products are available. Okay, so they have to totally control on the expansion of bank credit. Then promotion of fixed investment. Okay, the aim here to increase the productivity of investment by restraining non-essential fixed investment. They have to totally focus on the fixed investment, because fixed investment are considered as a long term. Okay, so long term investment, so that's why people cannot get the we can say shorter period of they cannot find out the money, and if there are the not find out of the money, so they have to doing the less consumption, and less consumption is created the, we can say, good for the environment. If there are the fixed investment are considered, then business can get the higher, we can say, fund and at the lower cost and the long term fund. Okay, then after restrictions of the inventories. So overfilling of the stocks and products become outdated due to the excess of stock often is result in the sickness of the unit. So to avoid this type of problem, the Central Monetary Authority is carries out the essential function of a restricting the inventories. Inventories means what? Inventories means stock. So the main objective of this policy is to avoid overstocking and the ideal money in the organization. If there are the money is we can say consider ideally. Ideal money means what? The money which cannot usable money. So it's considered as idle money. Ideal money are, we can say, consider as for the only storing purpose. if they have to use this idle money in the investment, so we can then organization can develop, right? So they have to doing the restrictions on the inventory, so they have to easily get the money and invest in the particular format, so the so business and organization can get the profit. Then after, promotion of export and food procurement operations. Money policies plays a special role and attention in order to boost export and facility in the trade. So it is an independent objective of the monetary policy. So they have to totally focus that exports, foods and procurement. Because our export is higher, then we can get the higher foreign income. Okay, so if they can, if our we can say import are higher than export, then we have to pay the higher money to the foreign firms, and if we have to pay the higher money, then our firm can face the, and our economy will face the diseconomy of scale. So they have to doing continuous promotion to the export of food and procurement, which are to be a we can say consider as only and only purpose for the export, right? So there are the some units are considered only basis for the export based units, like in the Bhavnagar you have to find a one firm, and the name of the firm is Renaissance, and this firm is company is working as a diamond export firm, and this firm is totally we can say doing only exporting. They cannot doing the work for our they cannot produce a product for our country. They have to doing the production for the exporting this production to the another countries. So that's why there are the various type of promotions doing for this companies, so they can get the easily subsidies and some type of help that provided by the government. So this type of promotion is gained by the government to take the promotion for the export to our products which are to be produced in our country. Then after, desired distribution of credit. Money authority and monetary authority has control over the decision regarding the allocation of credit to the priority sectors and the small borrowers. So these policies decide over the specified and to be a percentage credit that to be allocated to the priority sectors and the small borrowers. So they have to totally focus on the small scale MSMEs and medium and small scale enterprise, so they can get easily we can say that money, and they can easily get the money, so they can develop that organization. If they have to develop the organization, you know that all MSME and small scale business are totally depend on the manual work, right? So they have to require the higher laborer and employees, and so that's why our laborer and employees get the job, and they can get the easily profits and money. Then after, equitable distribution of credit. So the policy of Reserve Bank is aims to equitable distribution to all sector of the economy and all social and economical class of the people. So sometimes this type of conflicts are created that economical scale, like there are the if there are the higher economical of scale, so they have to get the easily credit from the bank, and if there are the less economical of scales, people like poor people cannot get the credit from the bank. So this create the inequality in society. So if they have to reduce this type of inequality in society, so RBI have to manufacture a design and the new monetary policy that's equitable distribution credit for the all over the people like poor, middle class and the upper class. Then after, to promote the efficiency. It is another essential aspect where the central banks pay a lot of attention. So it tries to increase the efficiency in the financial system and try to incorporate structure changes such as the deregulation interest rate and is to operational constraint in the credit delivery system. So it's introduce a new monetary market and money market instrument, etc. To promote the efficiency, sometime monetary policy have to boost up the new instrument for the money market like the T-bills, then after treasury bills, trade bills. So this type of all security are considered for the short term period of time to get the higher benefit of the money and easily get the money, so can organization get their work we can say highly efficiently, right? So this type of promotion efficiency are also considered as the monetary policy objective. Then after reducing the rigidity, RBI is a tries to bring out the flexibility in the operational, which is provide the considerable authority. So it's encourage a more competitive environment and the diversification. So it's maintain its control over the financial system whenever necessary to maintain the discipline and to produce it operation of the financial system. So they have to totally focus and try to reduce the rigidity and doing the flexibility in the environment, so they can easily take the competitive environment advantages and encourage the diversification. Diversification means what? Diversification means if organization doing some business and they have to convert or divert their business to one sector to another sector is called the diversification. Take the example of this, that Lux company. Lux company is making the soaps, right? Now they have to convert, they have to diversification, doing the diversification in their business, and they have to consider in the textile sector, clothes sector, like the Lux Lyra, right? So they have to trying to reduce the rigidity, so organization can easily do the merger amalgamation, diversification in their business, and using their highly efficiency market. Then what are the tools of monetary policy? So element of monetary policy, there are the qualitative measure and select the credit control. So first one, there are the monetary policy tools of monetary policies operations. So monetary operations is involve the monetary techniques which is operate the monetary magnitude such as the money supply, interest rate and availability of credit is aimed to maintain a price stability, stable exchange rate, and we can say that healthy balance of payment, financial stability and economical growth. So here one word is new for you, that the balance of payment. Balance of payment means what? In any country they have to consider their total accounting, we can say, statement. In the accounting statement there are the two sided. First in the left hand side is the debit side and here is the credit side, right hand side. So this debit and credit both are equal. If there are the credit is higher than debit is called the profit, and the we can say supply is higher, and if there are the debit is higher than the credit, then is a loss situation for the business or for the organization and country. So this type of maintain we can say records are maintained in our country, so that's why it's called the balance of payment. So RBI and the FX Institution of India is a monitor and the regulate the monetary policy in the country, stabilize the price by the controlling the inflation. So RBI is take into the account for the following monetary policies. So there are the tools of monetary policies: qualitative monetary policies, quantitative. So first one, there are the open market operations, bank rate policy, cash reserve ratio and statutory liquidity ratios. These four are considered as the quantitative measures. So first one, there are the open market operations, and open market operations is the instrument of a monetary policies which involve the buying and selling government security from or public to bank. So this mechanism is influenced to the reserve position of the bank. So it's yield the government security and the cost of the bank credit. The RBI sells the government security to control the flow of a credit and buys the government security to increase the credit flow. RBI, what's do the RBI? RBI have to doing the selling and purchasing of the government security. If they have to be doing the higher credit in the market, so they have to be doing the increase of the highly increase and selling the government securities. Open market operations is make the bank rate policies effectively and maintain stability in the government security market. Second one is a bank rate policy. The bank rate is also known as a discounting rate, is the rate that interest charged by the RBI for providing the funds for the loans to the banking system. So it's called the bank rate. The banking system is involved the commercial and the cooperative banks, industrial development banks of the India like IFC, Exim banks, and all they have to be approved the financial institution. The fund are provided either through the lending directly or to be a rediscounting or buying the money market instruments like the commercial bills, T-bills. If they have to be require the higher money, then they have to be they have to sell and they have to be doing this type of commercial bill, issue the T-bills, so they can easily get the money. Then increase in the bank rate and increase in the cost of borrowing for the commercial bank, which is result into the reduction in the credit volume for the bank, and it's hence to be a decline in the supply of money. An increase in the bank rate is a symbol of the tightening RBI monetary policy. As of 1st January 2030, bank rate was 8.75 percentage, and on 29 October 2030, bank rate is to be 8.75. Okay, so they are the same policy in the now in the 2021. Our we can say bank rate for the saving account are considered as 4%, and for the fixed account and fixed deposit is considered nowadays is considered as the 5.87 percentage, or sometimes they have to provide only 5.75 percentage, or sometimes if there are the private firm and private bank, then they have to provide the 6% interest rate. Okay. There are the tools of monetary policy. So you can see here from 1991 there are the bank rate is continuously decreasing. Nowadays there are the only 4% interest rate provide for the saving account. Then after, cash reserve ratio. What is the meaning of that? Cash reserve ratio is a certain percentage of bank deposit which bank are required to keep with the RBI in the form of reserve or balance. So higher the CRR means cash reserve ratio with the RBI, and the lower will be a liquidity in the system is a vice versa. If CRR is higher, then there are the lower liquidity for the bank, and if there are the CRR is lesser, higher CRR lesser liquidity, and lesser CRR higher liquidity. So higher CRR will be result as there are the vice versa situation is created. So RBI empowered to vary a CRR between the 15% to 3%. So nowadays CRR rate is 4%. So this type of we can say security that that any bank they have to be kept with the RBI as a security fund. If they can get the 1 lakh rupees as the deposit, then they cannot issue the 1 lakh rupees totally to the lender. They have to consider the 4%, consider the 4% margin for the RBI as a bank, we can say reserve. But as per the suggestion by the Narsim Rao committee report, CRR was reduced from 15 in the 1919, the 5% in the 2002. So as the October 2030 CRR is 4%, and nowadays also in 2020 to 2021 CRR rate is 4%. So here you see there are the continuously decreasing rate in the CRR ratio. Then after statutory liquidity ratio, every financial institution have to maintain a certain quantity of liquid assets with themselves as the point of view for the time for the total time and demand abilities. If demand liabilities, if we can say get the example of this, that bank have to consider 1 lakh rupees deposit from the A person. So government and government's rules and regulation according to monetary policies, RBI's policies, they cannot issue the totally amount to the B person. They have to keep the 70% with them, and they have to 70% issue and 30% they have to keep with them. So it's called the statutory liquidity ratio. These assets are can be cash or precious metal is approved for the security like the bond. The ratio of liquidity asset is to time to demand and liability in the terms of statutory liquidity ratio. There will be reduction in SLR statutory liquidity ratio from 38.5% to 25% become suggested by the Narsim Rao committee, and current SLR is to be at 23%. So it's also considered as the lesser SLR. Then after, the second point is the selective credit control. Under this there are the four main points: credit rationing, leading margin, and the moral suspicions and directing control. First one is the credit rationing. So under this method, this is a maximum limit to the loan, and the advance that can be made with the commercial bank cannot be exceed. Like RBI is fixed to be a ceiling for the specific categories, such as a rationing in the use for the situation which to be a credit flow be checked, particularly and speculative activity. They have to total doing the we can say less the speculative activity, gambling activity in the market. The minimum of the capital total asset ratio between the capital and total asset is prescribed by the Reserve Bank. So according to that, they have to consider that. Second one is the leading margin and the marginal requirement. Marginal requirement of the loan is equal to current value of security offered for the loan value of the loan granted. So the marginal requirement of an increase in the those business activities and the flow of whose credit is to be restricted in the economy. Example, a person is a mortgage this property worth of rupees 1 lakh against the loan. So is considered as the monetary policy. The bank will give 18,000. So if person have to mortgage a 1 lakh property worth of rupees 1 lakh, then bank have to provide only loan of 80,000. They cannot provide the whole we can say amount 1 lakh rupees, right? So the marginal requirement here is a 20%. So in the case of the flow of credit has been increased, the marginal requirement will be lower. So RBI has to using a method in since 1956. So it's called the marginal ratios. Then moral suasion, this method is known as a moral persuasions as the method of Reserve Bank of India. Being a apex body is used here, so it's that to be a pursuing the commercial bank to follow the directions, orders and the flow of credit. So RBI puts a pressure on the commercial bank to put a ceiling on this credit flow, and during the inflation and the liberal to be a handing in the deflation. If there are the deflation in market, there have to be a liberal policy, and if there are the inflation in market, there have to be a totally ceiling policy. So we can say tight policy. Direct action. Under the Banking Regulation Act, Central Bank has the authority to take a strict action against any of the commercial bank that refuse to obey the direction given by the RBI. If any bank cannot follow the rules and regulation, that direct action can be taken by the RBI. So there can be a restrictions and the advancing loan imposed by the RBI of India, such as bank example. There are the RBI had put up the certain restrictions on the working of the Metropolitan Cooperative Bank. Also, Bank of Kerala has become in 1992. I hope you know this, and if you don't know this, you can also see the web series Scam 1992 Harshad Mehta scheme. In this scheme, you can easily know that what type of scheme is done by the Bank Kerala, and after this, they have to be faced the we can say penalties is given by the RBI. Then limitation of monetary policy is time gap, then the difficulty in the forecasting, then non-banking financial remedies, then after less development of the monetary and the credit market. So let's see it. First one is the time gap. It refers to the one major limitation of monetary policy. It's involved to be a time taken, and formulating is implementing monetary policy in economy. If you have to formulate and design the policy, and after whenever you have to implement this policy, there are the different situation in market because market is fluctuating, right? So this time lag is increasing. It would be a result into the new type of economic and problems, but is make to be a whole monetary policy ineffective. Second one is a difficulty in forecasting. Implies the monetary policy can be effective if there is a proper analysis and economical problem for which the policies to be implemented should be arise properly. Like forecasting economic is a condition has to always been a controversial issue. So sometime if we have to forecast the next situation is the inflation in market is created deflation. So it's one type of we can say limitation for this policy. Then non-banking financial intermediation refers to that the growth of financial market has to be decreased the scope of monetary policies. So with the emergence of the non-banking financial intermediaries such as the industrial development bank, insurance companies, mutual funds, so this new segment of economies is responsible for the grabbing the share of the commercial banks. So sometimes non-banking financial intermediaries also create the limitation for this policy. Less development of money and credit market act as the important factor for the effectiveness of the monetary policy. The effectiveness of the monetary policies depend upon the efficiency of money and credit market. Therefore, monetary policy is in this country has to be provide the ineffective if our, we can say, monetary and credit market is not considered as that. Okay. So, thank you very much. Here we completed the unit number 5. Topic number is third, that the monetary policy. In that you learn about the meaning, then after introduction, then after the objective, limitations and the tools of money market. So, these all are very important regarding the point of your examination. If you have any query regarding this topic, you can contact me. Thank you.